I have finally found my own place, y'all. After months and months of researching and looking and dodging crazy nasty apartments, I have finally found a way to have my own place here in Paris. Look at me in my couch with my shoes on, adulting. So I want to talk about finding a place in Paris. I want to give you guys some shortcut tips of things that I found helpful booking a place here. So number one, I'm gonna direct people who are not French. If you're not French, I mean, French people do have issues in Paris too. I mean, the housing thing is an issue for everyone, but if you're not French in particular, it's a lot harder. I mean, everyone has the option to go through an agency or just go directly to the owner of the property, the proprietaire. They're called le propriétaire. I think that's how you say it. I'm trying French in this video. I'm gonna try. If you go through an agency, there are some agencies that are reputable, that have English speaking agents that can help you out. That's how I found my place. Or you can go directly through a proprietaire. You're probably gonna get a cheaper place that way. But you also run the risk of getting a sketchy place. I done seen them. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of scams for Paris. You gotta be careful. So I'm gonna give you a list of places that I've found, that I've done a lot of research on. This is my own opinion. Obviously I haven't rented through all of them, but these are just places I found through recommendations and all of that. A lot of the agencies that people recommend for foreigners are Lodges, Paris Attitude, New York Habitat, Book a Flat. I've even found Casa Housing, which is more based on Facebook, and Book a Flat is what I've used to find my place. Now, all of these places that I just listed do rent furnished rentals. So if you're someone, you don't know where you want to stay, if you want to stay in Paris forever, it's a good investment to just book a place that's already furnished, especially because for these agencies, they have to have a standard of furnishing already set, so it's even able to be listed on these websites. Cause y'all, I've seen some janky apartments that claim to be furnished and have like a stained yellow mattress in them and want to charge you 2 months rent because it's furnished. Scams. And then you can find websites where you rent directly through the owner or the landlord, whatever you want to call them. Websites that I found that a lot of people recommend looking on are Le Bon Coin, Fusac, Pap.fr. When you book through an agency, there are some things that you have to know. I decided to go through an agency just to lessen the risk of me misunderstanding something in French. Even if I can speak French well, I can read French well, there could be something I'm like, and I didn't want, you know, to get myself in a bind just because I was trying to do it that way. So I dealt with paying more money because you're going to be charged agency fees. And also, if it's a furnished place, you're probably going to pay 2 months rent just as the deposit and then 1 month worth of rent on top of that. So keep that in mind. With that in mind, I still found that booking through an agency was the best choice for me to get a quality place that I felt comfortable living in for a year and not necessarily having to worry about having a sketchy landlord. Number 3 I want to talk about is the dossier, which is very, very necessary when you're in Paris. You have to build a file, basically, that you present to people before you even view the flat. I found that so odd. At first, when I started looking a few months ago, I'm like, this is a whole scam. Y'all want my information? I haven't even seen the place yet. What? You trying to scam me? You trying to take my identity?
No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am.
But that's normal here in Paris. Here in Paris, you have to have a file already set, and people will look at your file to see if they even want you to come and take up their time to see the flat. So the file is mainly going to consist of your contract. If you work in Paris, you do have a stronger chance of getting a place if you have a contract from a French company. I know a lot of foreigners are not going to have that. Yes, I know, but this is what they look for. They want to see your passport, they want to see your income, they want to see if you have a French bank account. And of course, if you live in Paris, you know the struggle of opening a bank account if you don't have a French place and blah blah blah. I was really lucky to have a host family that opened the bank account for me, so I just kept it open, and it's been really convenient for a lot of things here. You need a guarantor. If you're from the US, it's the same thing as a co-signer, but it's mandatory for pretty much everyone. Now, the guarantor has to be French.
How, Sway?
If you know someone who's French and can basically vouch for you and be like, hey, if this person doesn't pay the rent, you know, I'm gonna be in charge of that. If you know a French person, or if you have a French family member or a French boyfriend or girlfriend, that's your best bet. But there is a way around that for people who don't have that, because I ain't got that. I'm trying to get a French boo that can vouch for me, but it ain't happened yet. All right, y'all, I know this is a lot of information, but I hope it's at all helpful to people who are transitioning, maybe after au pairing, or just interested in different ways that they can come to Paris. If you're liking this video so far, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to APOP, because APOP has been making videos that are so helpful. Shout out to APOP. Let's take a moment to appreciate APOP and all the work it's been doing. Take this moment. There's this service called Guarantor, or even Fiscal, that's also like the same, but Guarantor, you pay them per year, you pay them a fee per year, and they act as your French guarantor, and it just looks like you have a stronger file because they're backing you up just in case you default on your rent. People here are very serious about guarantors. Like, if you don't have a guarantor, bye. Fiscal, or Fiscal, however you say it, is also the same, but it's like a guarantor through the French government. Although having Guarantor made my file a lot stronger than it looked before, people still ignored me. They were like, hey, do you have a guarantor? And I'm like, I have Guarantor.
Psych!
Silence. I've been ignored a lot. Once we get to that point and they know that I don't have a French person, even though Guarantor is a very reputable service, a lot of people still don't accept it. Now, I want to talk about how much easier my process became when I declared myself as a student here in Paris. I don't know if there's some unwritten rule about students here in Paris, but people kind of respect students here. I always see a higher appreciation or a higher respect when I say I'm a student versus I'm just working. So, if you can do it, I would declare yourself as a student. I would enroll in some classes. You have your documentation that you're in school, and you can find places that are really nice. Honestly, I think COVID helped my situation a lot. I was looking for places, and when I would contact a place, like even if it was posted like an hour ago, I would contact them, and all of a sudden the place is already gone. But where did it go? I had that happen so much. So if you're gonna rent here, I don't even try to start renting unless you have your files in place. It's gonna be like you're wasting your time. Book an Airbnb for at least a month and a half to 2 months at the very least. I've heard it take a few months for people to find a place. I've heard it take maybe a week to find a place, but you don't, as a foreigner, it's a lot harder for you to get a place here, and you don't want to put yourself at any kind of risk or any kind of mercy of the housing here. Okay, I had an Airbnb for a month, but only because I already knew that I was moving into this place a month later. That's the only way I did that. Voilà. C'est très au soleil. You're gonna see a lot of crappy places. Unless you just have a humongous budget, you're gonna see a lot of crappy places that are not cheap, or a lot of very cheap places that are like barely livable. If I have any last advice, it is make a list of what you want and then throw it out the window. But even if you don't have a big budget, I've seen rooms for 400 euros. I've seen, even if it's little chambre de bonne, which is like little micro studios, even if it doesn't have a toilet in it, you can still get a place for like 500 bucks. And it still be your own place. It may not be a huge studio, but it's your own place. Don't knock out the little places like that. I would also say, if you're coming to Paris, you want to book an Airbnb for a month so you can get to know different arrondissements. You really gotta know what area you want to live in because they're all so different, okay? That will make a big difference in your apartment search. In no way do I want to discourage you guys for finding a place, but I just want you guys to know here in Paris it's not easy. I think the main thing for finding a place here is have one main thing that you really want, that you are not lenient on getting, that you are determined to have in your new place. One thing for me, it was having a washing machine, and I found a place that had a washing machine. So although I gave up the space, I gave up maybe a bathtub and an oven, having a washing machine in my place was so important. Make sure you just keep that in your head while you're finding a place. So that's all I have for this video. I hope the information was at all helpful, and if it was, if you didn't subscribe earlier, now you have another chance to subscribe to APOP. Come on, go ahead, I'll wait. And I guess the best way you can stay connected with me is through my personal channel. You can find me here. I'll leave all the little things there. And until I see y'all all again, bye y'all. In French, or really a fly, you gonna come in my place right now? Nobody asked you to come in. Yeah, go.